Okay, now it's recording. Yeah.
Or you dropped it?
Mm-hmm. So, without disclosing our location, it's three questions. The first being, why is the live stream stopped working? The second being, are you freaking out about the fact that you're about to retire? And the third was, oh goodness, I forgot how to. I don't even know what they're.
Okay,
It's something having to do with sermons or something. I don't even remember
second
that.
one is it freaking you out? Well, actually today it started kind of hitting me that, man, this what I've been used to for 40 something years is changing. So yeah, it got kind of to me and
Well, I hope-
emotional
yeah, I hope-
and
yeah.
all of that. So
Well,
kind of hit me today that it's nearly here.
right. What are you gonna do with yourself?
There's plenty of things I want to do in our new location.
Yeah. Well,
Build things, change things.
what's really cool is that you live next to your family. So you have 3 kids other than me, and like 20 grandchildren, and that's like the Abrahamic dream. You know, are you aware that you are living the archetypal Abrahamic dream?
I don't know about Abraham's dream.
Abraham looks at you and he's like, oh, well, that if Abraham looked into the future and he's like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because
I
don't know.
He's like a lineman. He fixes lights with like works for the power company. It's ridiculous. How do you reconcile with that much archetypal significance without it just being completely and totally annoying?
I don't know what archetypical.
Abraham, everybody!
No, I'm lucky that I did do a job that I enjoyed most of the time for my life. Not always, but I enjoyed the type of work that I do. And my children realized that I enjoyed my work. Although our family plans changed and stuff because of my job sometimes. Storms come, weekends change, so I worked out of town for
Yeah, it's fine.
weeks at a time, and your mom had to take care of 4 boys. But everybody was supportive of me, so I appreciate that. But yes, I basically enjoyed my life as a lineman.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about for a minute. You spent the last 20 years doing easier work than what you started off doing. So you've been a serviceman for the last 20 years. That's like troubleshooting. When something goes wrong, you would go and fix it. Talk about the first, and then we can talk about the second. Talk about the first 20 years that you were out building the giant wooden thing.
We set poles and sometimes had cross arms on them when we run 3 wires. But built a lot of line, worked with a lot of people, learned to get along with people, and you work together.
Worked with a big crew of people.
Yeah, a crew of people, and you've seen what you accomplished together, and you trusted each other, so it brought out the good in each other by learning to work with each other. So I like that part of it. It was hard work, yeah, because it was productive. You stayed busy. You had something to do every day. You go out and just add line.
It's quite a bit different than the second part of your job, to where you were a troubleshooter.
Now my main job is troubleshooting. Or number one thing is get the lights back on, figure out how to, or do it myself, or decide what needs to be done to get them back on.
Did you ever yell at the sky, and what did you say? Whenever it was storming, and I know that you weren't always just I know that they advise that you wait the storm, and I know that, but that's, But have you ever yelled at the sky, and what did you say?
No, I didn't.
No,
I think
once.
I had immense respect for nature, and I was like, please, nature, watch out for me. No, I never.
Well, it's lightning.
I
Well,
know.
how's lightning? What was your relationship with the fear of lightning? Lightning was your chances of getting electrocuted. Okay, let's talk. Well, I guess now we're just talking about electricity. So you were in a bucket, and the bucket does prevent you from being directly connected to the ground. But you could still get electrocuted by lightning in a bucket truck. It's just, what's kind of, I don't know, what's the chances of that?
Well, I guess anything in the direct path of lightning, even if you're not grounded, just the energy, would kill you, blow you up, or whatever. But being grounded like a tree or something is what attracts lightning. But if you was just accidentally in the path of it,
Right.
it would still kill you. But
Why did you never
the line-
make a joke about? Why did you never make a joke about being grounded, as somebody who worked adamantly with electricity and often,
oh, well, you mean like
like as a child?
the-
Why did you never
you mean
do a play on
grounded
words?
as in a type of the way you think about?
Like you
a
like go to your room. You're grounded. You're always
Oh.
grounded.
Okay, yeah, there's just different meanings of the
So you
word.
missed an opportunity.
But no, electricity's always looking for the nearest path to ground, so that's why lightning strikes, and that's the way the principles of lightning or electricity works. So you don't want to be that path if you're working on a high voltage line. You don't want to cause it to flow to ground through you. So that's why you isolate yourself in a bucket and don't touch nothing else while you're up there. It's one thing at a time, but
right.
that's kind of the principles of electricity.
What do you? How do you want to reconcile? What do you want to tell people about everybody in Texas? Texas they're on their own independent power grid, from what I understand, and I don't know. What do you, as a serviceman? How do you explain yourself? I don't.
Well, to give you a little education on the Texas power grid, well, it's still a bunch of companies
Well, it's a monopoly.
work that have an agreement to buy and sell power to each other. Well, it happens so the northern part of Texas, which kind of sticks up here, is on the same agreement with some other power companies that are in a linear across this way, and they have agreements, and they're called the Southwest Power Pool. It happens so Texas, those power companies have an agreement, and I don't know, it's not even a company like ERCOT, that helps them work together. And in the Southwest Power Pool, which is the difference about ERCOT and Southwest Power Pool, is ERCOT's not regulated by the federal government.
Right. Well, the
And
difference,
so
from what I understand,
we-
between ERCOT and the Southwest Power Pool and Xcel Energy is those are both terrible names, whereas Xcel is a pretty cool name. Both ERCOT and Southwest Power Pool Grid, both are not cool names,
Oh,
whereas Xcel
yeah, but
is.
see, Xcel is just one of those companies that has agreement with other companies, which makes up the Southwest Power Pool. And like there's the names,
Oh, so that's
there's
not the name
names
of a company?
companies. There's names of companies in Texas too that make up that loose coalition.
So that's
of what they call
do
the,
you want that? That's like the name of the agreement. Is the Southwest Power Pool? That's not a company name.
And then they have
Because if that was a company name,
no, well, it's not a power company. It is a company that uses its expertise in moderating the flow between these different companies, being XL, New Mexico Power and Light, whatever it's called, OG&E in Oklahoma. It's these companies working together, and then the Southwest Power Pool is, I don't know, the kind of the watch over guys on how the electricity flows or is sold back and forth between different companies. And then ERCOT does the same thing down there.
Yeah, so
But they don't even have-
it's certainly not my. I mean, there's some people that would just love to have this conversation with you or anybody. I'm not one of them, but there are people that think that electricity would be better off to be ran through the government. Do you have? What do you kind of think might be the benefits in it being privatized versus not? Roads, for example, are governments, whatever. Why shouldn't electricity be?
Okay, well, we are overseen by the federal government, the Southwest Power Pool, everybody in that group. We're regulated, so I'm not against government regulation, but there's still private, not privately owned companies, but owned by investors. So I think that makes, I believe in capitalism, and so competition and wanting to be better and everything creates more efficiency sometimes. So
It's certainly not wrong. That's certainly not wrong. That is at least some of the time true.
But see, it's a mix that
Right.
I think is, you don't have to be all the way one way or the other. Most everything in America is somewhat socialized nowadays.
Sure.
It's not, there is some regulation. Just like not having.
It's like a word. It's kind of like not a real thing in a way, like socialism and somewhat capitalism.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit of like are you gonna point at a road and be like, you're socialist, you know? Like, is a road socialist?
Well,
You know?
but see, roads is equally used or can be equally used by everyone. Electricity, you pay for what you use, so it shouldn't be just like everybody has same access to electricity, because if you use more, you should pay more. But
Yeah.
taxes for the roads, comes from state taxes on your gasoline and all that. So, but anyway, a mix of having the free market, and then sometimes you need regulations that says, oh, well, you can't do this or that. That's kind of like the laws on monopolizing or something. So monopolies actually take out competition. So competition is what makes capitalism better. So
Hey, well, let's talk about this real quick, and it's a bit of a difficult conversation, and perhaps having a third party make it a bit easier. Oh goodness, I can't. Well, I'm just as the years go by, this conversation will be more and more obvious, everything like that. So, well, I have a mother, and you have a wife who does suffer from above average pain margins, PTSD certainly, at least those two categories. You could you could get prescribed the plant known as marijuana for at least those two reasons, where she'd qualify for 50, so anyways, could you just say a good word on that? Could you say something? Because I know that you surely
Okay.
you want to do that.
I didn't know this conversation was going to go into that, so I won't do like Donald Trump and walk out of the interview. But
No, that was Pierce Morgan that walked out of an
Trump's
interview.
too, but
When did Donald
anyway,
Trump
I
walk out of
will
it?
answer some of that right quick.
I'm not even sure Donald Trump walked out of an interview.
Okay,
Well,
rather
it's
than
Pierce
walking
Morgan
out of
that
the
walked out of
interview,
it.
I will answer a little bit of that. I don't think marijuana is probably a miracle cure for everything. I don't think it probably should be something that the law spends a lot of
Closest.
time.
It's the closest you're gonna get. Okay. All right. So
Well, we have a disagreement on the benefit of it there. There probably is
There's no-
some benefit.
no, there's
Okay,
cost as far as like medical cost. You know, cost versus benefit. Anyways, welcome to the future. Welcome to the future.
hey,
Like
hey,
it's gonna.
we have a different agreement on the future, even if it's legal.
Well, what's difficult? Well, what's
Well,
difficult?
well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's no? You are right. It's not a medical cure. The problems are still going to be there. It's not going to fix everything, but it will make people's life a little bit better with no cost.
It might be.
That's the part. That's the part, though. Is like is people
Well,
you know?
there would be a
But that
cost.
what's the cost?
Well, you got to buy it.
Okay.
It's not free, but
Okay.
unless the government starts handing that out. But okay, but I don't think I don't think people ought to spend time in prison for it. I think probably,
That was crazy. All right.
now the whole if money, but if money handling marijuana and people worship the money and they're willing to kill people for it because of the money, that's part of the drug trade. That's wrong.
Or break into their homes
Or
and
legalize.
steal their things and then punish them.
Okay,
That's
well,
also
hey,
really wrong.
no, listen, you know that nobody's supposed to break in. Cops ain't supposed to come in your home.
Or whoever
Without a
they
search
are,
warrant.
whatever
They
costume
don't
they're
break
wearing.
into people's house because they heard that they're smoking pot in there.
That's what happened exactly, literally 100% to a home that I lived in.
Well, you're talking about what happened to what's his name? That's because they had a complaint from the.
Yeah, that was my apartment. right
You
there.
had a complaint from the neighbor about.
Yeah, it's a
or something.
viciously smelling. It doesn't smell nice, but lots of things don't smell good.
But anyway.
What a white
Hey,
per-
let me answer.
I don't like the way things are smelling.
This is my interview, not yours, right? Okay. Because the cops was called there, they had to investigate. Whether they handled that right, I don't know. Like I said,
They were doing their job.
Let me finish. There's a lot of discrepancy in cops. Okay, do you want me to leave this in?
No.
Okay. There's a lot of discrepancies. What's the word? They have a lot of. What's the word I'm looking for?
Discretion.
Discretion. Thank you. They have a lot of discretion.
Yeah, no, and I'm a perfect example of that in Austin, and we both know that.
Okay, well, let me talk about when I was.
Well, no, I as a direct result saw the discretion of police. I still think that is the weirdest, like, it's a technical,
Okay, but anyway,
bastardly, like
Okay,
a
Texas-
job that like is weird.
In Texas,
like,
in Texas,
you understand what I'm saying? Like the best, like 99% on discretion. So like I received the best discretion a person could receive. Still a
Right.
weird job, weirdos.
okay, I gotta go. to the
Well,
bathroom.
no,
I gotta go to
it's-
the bathroom.
Okay, well, you said you weren't gonna do that.
Well, I did.
Do I wait? Okay, I'll wait. He went to the bathroom earlier.
Turn it off.
It's stop.